Hello and welcome back to Stale Cupcakes, the podcast.
And by welcome back, we mean welcome to the 4th episode. Bing bong.
Bing bong.
So I think just jumping right into things, we're going to get the topic right off the bat. We're going to be talking about COVID and how it's been almost a full year.
Seriously, it's like our anniversary.
Yeah, because last year it was on Friday the 13th.
Mm-hmm.
This podcast will be released on Friday the 12th, except for it'll be 2021.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How it affected us, how maybe we gained some stuff out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
What would you like to say about COVID?
There's a lot to say about it, but I think this past year has been very different. Like, I couldn't have imagined 2020 going the way it did. Like, never. I mean, obviously, I don't think anyone had any clue that it was going to look like how it did.
No, it hit us all out of like left field.
Yeah, because I mean, in my head, 2020 started off great. I mean, Kobe and I literally rang in the new year in London, you know?
Yeah.
And we had our trip and we got back like the 10th of January. So in my head, I was like, oh, 2020 is going to be the year. Like, I had trips planned to go to New York with Noelle because she'd never been before.
Really?
Yeah, we had plans to go in March. And literally, we had plans to go March like 20th.
Mm-hmm.
Like, right around like when my spring break is, which is right around now. And we had plans to go and we literally canceled that, I think Thursday before like the 12th we canceled. And like we had plans to go to Seattle and like do all this stuff.
That would have been really I actually didn't know you had all these plans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've canceled our New York trip 3 times now because back in March we canceled and rebooked for October 2020 thinking, literally we were like, well, we could rebook for like July, but then we're like, well, let's do October to be safe, just so we know for sure we're gonna be fine.
That aged poorly.
Yeah. And then we canceled October and booked it yet again for, we would have left on the 16th of like this year.
Really?
And we canceled it again. Yeah.
Damn, that's actually kind of upsetting to hear.
Yeah, because Noelle's never been, so she was super excited. We had tickets to go see Moulin Rouge, the musical, which I don't know if you know that about Noelle, but she loves the movie Moulin Rouge.
I don't think I've ever heard of that.
It's so good.
It's a musical?
It's a musical movie, but it has like modern songs.
I'm not a very musical person.
But you like Mamma Mia.
I do.
We should watch
Mamma
Moulin
Mia.
Rouge.
Here we go again.
Are we singing this podcast?
We've been singing
all
day. Prior to this. We went live on our Instagram for... We could not figure out... Did you just say flop?
Flop. Hi, Flop.
Hi, Flop. We couldn't figure out an angle. We couldn't figure out anything.
Yeah.
It was rough.
I think it's something we have to rehearse, you know?
We're not very good at technology. It's a miracle that we get this podcast up and running.
I don't know how... I would say I don't know how we do it, but I don't do anything. I'm just the talent.
You're a heavy breather is what you are.
I'm a heavy breather. And I just show up and I do my thing and I breathe heavy and then I sit while Liz edits.
Yeah. And you give your input every now and again. Like, please cut that out. And I go, no.
And then she doesn't.
No, of course I'm not gonna. But back to COVID. Yeah, I think for me, the year started out, I wouldn't say bad. It wasn't great.
Yeah.
Started off, 2020?
Yeah.
I started off 2020 going up like a couple weeks into January to go see Mauricio, and we went to SF. Had a good time then, and then I distinctly remember sitting in the kitchen with my roommate Sana and going, you ever hear anything about this bug that's going around? And she goes, yeah, dude, it's fucking crazy. And I'm like, well, like, tell me about it, because I only had known just some little stuff from Twitter, and you know, Twitter is not always a reliable source.
Yeah.
But mostly it's not. But Sana was kind of like, you know, Liz, people will just get this thing, pass out because they're so tired, and die. And I remember thinking, death?
Yeah, what?
Death? There's no way the flu can kill you. And she goes, yeah, it's exactly like the flu. It hits people out of nowhere. It's the exact symptoms, except for symptoms. Why couldn't I say that word? But but it hits you out of nowhere, and people have been passing out and dying.
It's scary. Yeah.
And then I remember thinking, man, I hope this doesn't reach here. Because me and Mauricio were just starting dating. Like, we were, oh my gosh, we were maybe a month or two into officially dating in January. And I remember that 1 month apart from each other for winter break, we were like, this is the end of the world. Because, you know,
like
we're
so
dramatic. Yeah, because it was a fresh relationship. And then March 13th, I make a TikTok with my mom.
Oh, yeah.
Of her at a gas station. And she was wiping down credit cards with a Clorox wipe using gloves.
Like, she was wearing gloves.
Did she have a mask on? Were masks were not a thing then.
Remember at the very beginning of COVID, everyone was like, do not wear masks. Those are for healthcare workers only.
Yeah, N95s. I remember the only reason I had gotten picked up from school early from spring break was because my mom thought I had COVID. Because I had gotten really sick really suddenly. And my flu test came back positive, even though I had no symptoms of the flu. The nurse later, she goes, you know, you're going to hit a really high fever in the next couple of days, and it's going to get really bad for you. You need to have people around you. And I was like, why? And she goes, you have influenza type A. And I said, you act like I know what that means. And then I got sat down and yelled at for 20 minutes about why didn't you get a flu shot? You have asthma. And I remember thinking, because last year you gave me the flu shot and I got sick for 2 weeks and I didn't want it. And I never got sick. Yeah. They were like, oh, you're going to get really, really sick. It never happened.
No. I remember that distinctly, but because you recorded that TikTok and then you went viral.
Yeah. I think I got, oh man.
Well, I guess not viral. It was pretty viral.
Views. For me, that was amazing. I was like, wow, all these people saw it.
But I think the only person more excited than you
was our mother.
Every
day, every hour, she'll go, Liz. What are we at? I'd be like,
I remember when you hit like some milestone and it was like you had 100,000 views. Like not even like.
Well, do you know how it happened? I recorded her and I put it on TikTok thinking with the song that goes, coronavirus. And, I just put my phone away and I went, meh, my TikToks have gotten 600 views max.
Yeah.
Who cares? Like some of my friends will see it. And then all of a sudden I pick my phone up 3 hours, 3 hours later on our drive home. And all of a sudden I'm at fucking 17K views. And I went, Mom, holy shit. And she goes, what? I said, look at how many views you have. And she goes, holy shit.
She's like,
what does that mean? Famous. She goes, what does that mean? And I went, I don't know.
Yeah.
But that was my only TikTok to go viral. And she, every day.
She milked it.
She was like, how many views are we at, Liz? How many views are we at?
And then it started to plateau and she took that personally.
Yeah. When it stopped getting views, it stopped getting likes. She was like, why don't people like it?
Right.
No, the worst was she went, should we upload more? Should we upload more? No.
Like, should I become a TikToker?
No, Christine, you shouldn't. Oh my gosh.
That was so funny.
That was so funny. That was a good, I mean, out of everything, that was really funny to come out of that.
Super funny. Yeah. Chrissy G going viral, semi-viral on TikTok.
Yeah, on an app she has no clue about. What else really happened with, I mean, I got moved home.
Yeah. I started working from home.
I started working for your office.
Yeah. But that wasn't until like June, May.
I started working as soon as I got back because I was only supposed to be working for a week.
That's right.
Through
because you were supposed to be there. Oh my goodness. Holy cow. And my timeline is so messed up.
I'm going to be honest. I don't think anyone from your firm will listen to this.
Maybe Letty.
Okay. Well, Letty doesn't care. I milked whatever you guys gave me for 4 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was like these little tasks like, hey Liz, can you put these files in the cabinet? And I'd be like, yes ma'am. It took me 4 hours.
Well, because I think when you did that, our office had gotten painted too, so I had to
lift all those boxes.
Yeah, we had to take everything out of our file cabinets and like put it in separate boxes and then take the boxes and blah blah blah. So Liz was doing all that heavy lifting because that was going to be me.
And by the way, not that, I don't know, it's like what would you say that kind of box is?
It's a banker's box.
So you know the box like in movies where they're like, you're fired, go clean up your desk, and they all magically pull these boxes out of their ass. That was the box.
Yeah.
And they had about 50 of them stacked from floor to ceiling, and they were like, hey Liz, you're gonna hand go through all these files, see if they're open cases, closed cases, or pending, and if they're closed, put them back in the box, but if they're open or pending, put them in the correct spot. And I was like, okay, no problem, because there's numbers on them. And I thought, not a big deal. But then what they don't tell you is that, yes, there are numbers on them, but they don't want them number ordered.
And the numbers mean nothing.
The numbers mean nothing.
They
want
them
for alphabetically order.
Yeah.
And so I would sit there, and 95% of these paper files were all closed.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just going through them and being like, well, what the fuck is the point of this?
Yeah, that was a fun time.
Yeah. That took a lot of time to do, but then all of a sudden I got put on a computer and I started bringing my Switch to work.
Yeah, because that was like in the height of
COVID.
Yeah.
Nobody was coming in. It was me and Sam,
mm-hmm.
and some days just me.
Yeah.
And then maybe one or two other people.
Yeah, like Tim would come in, but other than that,
but most people didn't know I was in the back office.
Yeah, you were just hiding back there.
So I would go in the back room. I would put my computer screen on and and I would put my emails open so it looked like I was working on one file. And then I would work on my Animal Crossing island.
Yeah, you were putting in, I mean, you were working.
I was working. I was working very hard
just
for them turnips, for them bells, not for the right reasons.
But so do you remember, were you in the office the very last day that we were there in March?
The last day in March?
Like, were you there March 13th in the office?
No, I was driving
you weren't
home.
There yet. That's right. Okay. I just remember because that happened and Letty and I were sitting there. Letty's the other paralegal I work with. And we were sitting there and we were like, are we going to work from home? Like, what's happening? Because everywhere on like social media was like, oh my gosh, I'm working from home for the next few weeks. Like, what is this going to look like?
Because New York blew up.
Mm-hmm. And so we're sitting around waiting. we're sitting around waiting to see like what was going to happen. What was the plan? And I remember finally getting the email being like, oh, we're going to work from home for 2 weeks and then we'll come back and see what happens. Like, we'll monitor the situation. Well, I mean, spoiler alert, to this day, I still work from home Tuesdays and Thursdays. I mean, that's because I have school, but like, still, like, but we're not fully back in the office yet. So, spoiler alert, it was longer than 2 weeks.
Why are you saying spoiler alert?
I don't know. I just realized I said that twice in one sentence.
It's kind of funny.
Well, do we want to talk about what we got into in the early days? Like what we did as a family?
What did we do as a family?
Our paint nights. Well, actually,
that was me.
You got really into painting.
I got really into doing horrible paintings.
It was not horrible. You were good. Some were good.
Such a fucking liar.
No, some were good.
Some were.
Post them on the Instagram.
I'm not going to post them on the Instagram for obvious reasons.
If you don't, I will. I have the password too.
I don't know what happened originally. Yeah, I know you have the password, but you don't do anything with it. We both have the Instagram up and running. And by the way, if I don't post anything, then there's nothing on the account.
Yeah.
Sam just comes up to me and goes, someone DM'd us. And I go, well, handle it. And she's like, well, I don't know them. And I'm like, you can't carry a conversation.
No. Well, they know you. So they're probably, because they know you.
But they know our podcast.
Okay.
So they therefore know you too.
That's true.
Ooh.
My fans.
Association.
My flop.
Hi flop. But in the beginning of COVID,
mm-hmm.
I was painting because something was going on where I just remember thinking, I'm going to get really good at painting. Well, that's it. Mental illness. That's what was going on.
Wasn't the first thing you did, you saw something on TikTok and you wanted to recreate it, so you went out and bought a canvas and some paint?
Yeah, but what did I recreate?
I don't remember.
The first one was awful.
Yeah. What was it?
Oh my God, was it a Starry Night? Not the real painting.
No, that was like halfway
was
through.
Was it a galaxy?
When you're going crazy.
What was the first one?
You started off really ambitious. I don't remember
the first
what
one.
It was.
The first one, I will say, oh man, I wish I remember.
Oh my God, the first one was when you didn't have an idea what you were going to do, but you saw something on TikTok, I think, and you were like, wow, that was a really good painting. I'm going to become a painter too. And you went out and bought a pack of canvases and some paint and some paint brushes, and I think you just painted with your little heart and you put what was in your heart, and I'm gonna be honest,
my heart is
was
ugly.
Not good.
Yeah, by definition my heart is ugly. But then the second one was, it got the whole family fighting over that one. Who got to keep that one?
Oh, was it the bug?
The VW bus.
Oh, that was so cute.
Yeah, because I painted this thing and you really couldn't mess it up because it was symmetrical. And it was a VW bus, and that one was a hit with our dad.
Dude,
like I loved that painting, and I kept thinking like, wow, when I get back to Chico, because I was really thinking like I'm going back to Chico pretty soon. I was like, I'm gonna hang that up in my in my room. Like, that's so cute, because I had this canvas in Chico that I painted that was so cool. Well, to me. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to start making like an art collection on the wall. And then my dad was like, no, that's coming with me to the office. He kept trying to hide it. Mm-hmm. And so every day I would wake up and paint. And it got to a point where because dad started working from home, and he would go, what are you painting today?
Every day.
And he would sit by me and go, well, what are you painting today? Mm-hmm. And I was like, I don't really know. Okay. And he would check in every 30 minutes to be like, yeah, what are you painting?
Yeah. Like when he did his like walk by, because you were doing it at the kitchen table, and I would also sit at the kitchen table working, mm-hmm. and I would just sit there and
I think that's also why it started, because I was like, yeah, you were out there, and I was like, oh, well, you're working, I'm going to work.
Right.
But what else? Oh man, I did it for 12 days straight, mm-hmm. because then after I ran out of the 6 canvases, Mom went out and bought a big ass pack of canvases.
Yeah, a bunch. And
like
paint.
I still have 4 or 5 left.
I'm sure.
Yeah, they're right there.
Oh yeah.
You guys can't see it. They're in my closet. And then she went out and bought all these acrylic paints, because mine were drying, because we don't know how to take care of paint here. And it just snowballed. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden we were doing paint nights.
Yeah, because I think it was one night you and I were going to paint anyway. And then Mom was like,
I want to paint.
Can I paint too? She's like, I don't even know what I would do.
And then Mom, I hate to rat Mom out. Her first painting was god awful.
What was it again?
I don't know, but I just remember being like, oh God.
Oh, it was the donut. Do you remember?
Oh man, she spiraled. Our mom went too far.
She had the too much gene. It's the Virgo in her, where mm-hmm. like something wasn't perfect, so then she had to like
overcompensate,
keep painting, and it was thick.
It got thick. It never dried, and it just became so hectic. And Dad we did it outside.
Yeah.
And Dad kept walking by, being like, "Oh, what is that?" Yeah. What did he say?
He just kept like saying like unknowingly condescending things about it. He'd be like, Liz, yours is really good. Wow, Sam, I like yours. Silence.
And then Mom would go, well, what about mine?
And he'd be like, yeah, it's all right.
No, what did he guess the first one it was? He went, is that a pool floaty?
Oh, no, a bagel.
Yeah, he said, is that a bagel?
Because she was doing a donut.
Yeah.
And she hadn't drawn on like the sprinkles and the frosting yet. And he's like, oh, it's a bagel.
He goes, that's
cool.
I really like your bagel, Chris.
Why'd you do that?
And at the top it said,
don't worry.
Was it donut worry?
Yeah.
I thought it was I do not care.
Oh, maybe. It was something with a donut pun.
Yeah. Which is so funny, because Mauricio's mom, the first time I met her, had a shirt, and on the back of it said I, and then a donut care.
That's funny.
And that just made me laugh, because then when I saw Mom doing that, I said, so it's a mom thing.
Interesting.
What else? Oh, and then Dad. Mm-hmm. Dad joined paint night.
But he never did, like, usually when you and I would paint, it would be like we would find something on the internet and try to paint it.
Dad
like,
did thing out of his own brain.
Yeah, he would just like be like, okay.
He did a skyline.
Yeah, he did the whole Chicago skyline just straight from memory.
Mm-hmm.
Just thinking, he's like, well, that's clearly the Sears building.
But the great part about Dad was he was angry painting. He wasn't painting to be like, wow, I'm so calm. No. He was like, I fucking hate this. Why are my colors not mixing? Liz, how do I? And then at one point he took a ballpoint pen.
Oh my gosh.
And tried to draw over wet paint.
Because he had painted the Chicago skyline.
Yeah, and he was like, well, I want him to be able to see the windows.
Yeah, he was like, I need to have windows. And he couldn't even fathom the idea of like...
let it dry, get a Sharpie.
Let it dry. Yeah, get like a fine point Sharpie. No, he was like...
I said I do it now.
A Pilot G2 to it.
What a caveman. Oh my God, what a caveman.
Yeah, but those were fun. Like that reminds me of like early days, like April-ish.
Isn't it so funny how long a full year of COVID is?
I know. I
still think that I'll wake up and be like, it'll be last year, and I'll be like, oh, what a shitty dream I just had. Yeah. I still feel like that.
Although, but would you actually, like, if you would you unlive 2020?
No.
Me neither.
Only because I will say, this is going to sound really like sappy, but me and Mauricio, we really flourished in all of this. Mm-hmm. I think that I had really bad issues when it came to the idea of doing distance from, just life. And I think that if we never had to do 6 months apart, we would not be as good as we are.
Mm-hmm.
We would not love each other as much as we do. We wouldn't appreciate each other as much as we do. It would kind of be one of those things where we would take each other for granted.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think about it all the time, and it makes me incredibly sad, but I saw my boyfriend 2 months out of 12 months.
Yeah.
That's shitty.
Mm-hmm.
But every time I did see him, it was the best time of my life.
Yeah, it's like the whole quality over quantity.
Yeah, and like, he's coming next week.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so much looking forward to it because I don't get to see him every day like I used to.
Right.
But
yeah, you like don't take it for granted.
Yeah, and COVID really taught me how to be in a successful, healthy relationship, which I don't think I could have learned any other way. Because like I said, I thought a month was the end of the world.
Yeah, dramatic.
Why wouldn't you relive it? Or why would you relive it?
I don't know. I mean, I think this year has been so like different, obviously, but it's taught me that I'm a lot more resilient than I ever thought I was. Like, if anyone like knows me, my law school experience has been different. Like, there's no other way to describe it than
difficult
just,
and
like,
just unique.
I started in the the fall of 2018, and in the spring of 2018, like, there was a 80% chance my law school was going to close, you know? So that spring was difficult. And so then the next spring, like, my friends and I all joked, like, there's no way it can get worse than that. Like, there's no way, because literally we didn't know if we were going to have a fall semester or if we were even going to finish the spring semester.
I remember how stressed out you were. That was scary.
Yeah. And like, so then we joke, we're like, okay, well, every spring semester, like, something happens, like, what's going to happen? And then this spring semester happened, and like COVID happened, and we had to do like Zoom law school, which
is difficult.
It's crazy. Like, I mean, a lot of our professors have been really good about like technology and stuff, but that spring semester was probably the hardest academic semester I've ever had, because I was already in difficult classes, and to have to do those via Zoom was nearly impossible.
Yeah.
And so I think it's taught me, like, I'm a lot more resilient than I already thought I was, because I already knew, like, if I can make it through law school doing like what I did, like, I can do anything, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think I'd take back this year.
You know what's so funny is because Chico has the exact same saying, like, something happens every year.
Yeah.
My freshman year, it was the fire.
Yeah.
That was terrifying. And then sophomore year, Chico flooded.
Oh, that's right.
And then my junior year, the flooding happened because of the fire, so it was a 2-for-1. But the year before the fire, there was a panther on campus.
What?
Or a mountain lion. It was some big cat.
Probably a mountain lion. I feel like panthers are in the jungle.
Well, aren't there brown panthers? What are those ones?
Brown. I don't know. I'm not a zoo.
I don't know. I was just watching a lot of the Irwin family stuff on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
I feel like I know a lot now, but I know I don't. But yeah, so Chico has like there was a shooting threat in the library. Yeah, there was a lot going on there was a dead body found on campus my sophomore year. Oh my gosh, was that my freshman year? My sophomore year?
I don't remember.
I don't know, but I remember the body was found late at night, an hour after I had walked past that same place, because I had a class that ended at 10.
That's so scary.
And I remember, like an idiot, walking home at night, headphones in, literally crossed the exact spot that they found that body in. And I was like, wow, that scared the shit out of me. And then there was a shooting threat. Yeah, Chico goes through a lot of things.
Yeah, it's always the spring semester, man.
Yeah. And then the pandemic hit, and everybody was like, wow.
Yeah. That's like the last 2 springs.
Everybody was making the jokes of like, Chico's going through all 4 of the natural disasters or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Flooding,
going through everything. Fire, pandemic. Yeah. But yeah, so I would never take away 2020.
I also think 2020 was kind of a big year for me in terms of figuring it out. And I think a lot of people will say that 2020 was miserable on my mental health.
Yeah.
And I think it took 2020 to figure out who are my real friends and who are not my real friends. It was difficult, and it was not the way I would like to have done it, but my mental health took a plummet. And it wasn't until I got to that point where I was like, it's time to face my shit.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's like when you realize that like there've been so many like tough things that happen that like break you down, that all of a sudden you're like, okay, well, I need to figure out how I'm gonna get through this because I'm going to. So then you have to like buckle down and figure it out. And I feel like, yeah, like 2020's kind of made you do that.
Yeah, it made me stop avoiding myself, which is something that I think a lot of people do.
Yeah.
But I was the queen of it.
Yeah.
I was really good at avoiding all of my shit. Like, what? No, I don't have relationship issues. What? No, I don't. No, I don't have mental health issues.
Right. You just ostrich it.
No, what do you mean? No, I'm having a great time. I'm super happy. But it was like...
Well, it's like surface level happy.
Yeah. And then, you know that thing where it's like, oh, well, you're the one that puts your head on the pillow at night. It was like, because of how isolated we were, I was so alone and I could not run away from the idea of like, you can't hide this anymore.
Yeah. Like, yeah. I mean, I always say like when I get home from work in that hour I have between classes, I just like to sit and stare at a wall. That's what 2020 was, sitting and staring at a wall and figuring out like...
Trying to be happy with that.
Yeah.
And was so difficult. But I also think for me and Sam, it was a good year for both of our relationship.
Yeah, I think so.
Because we have a 4-year age gap, and to most people that's going to seem like nothing, because in retrospect it's like a freshman and a senior being friends. Except for me and Sam, you know, like 4 years was a lot.
Yeah.
Like you were getting your license when I was starting middle school.
Yeah. I mean, even thinking about like in high school, like I was a freshman in high school and you were... Oh, yeah. Well, it's like when I was like in high school, you were in elementary school. Like thinking about when we were younger, that age difference means a lot. I mean, even a freshman to a senior in high school, like that is a lot. Like a freshman, you're just trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And survive. Whereas a senior, you're like, okay, where am I going to college next year? Like that's...
Yeah, you kind of don't care.
No. Yeah,
But
you're past it.
I think for us, it was kind of one of those things where it was like, I don't know, like you were in college when I was in high school. And then when it was my turn to go to college, you moved home. Yeah. So our overlap time was horrible.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because whenever you're a freshman, I'm a freshman. Yeah. So you're a freshman in college, I'm a freshman in high school. Yeah. So when you were a freshman in law school, I was a freshman in college. Yeah. So it's like, this is the most time, I think, in 8 years we have ever got to spend together. Yeah, under the same roof. Yeah. Yeah. And it really did a lot for, like, being able to appreciate your family and stuff. Because you actually got to sit down and be like, you know, I've seen you at your worst, I've seen you at your best, and I still love you. Wow. Wow, you're welcome. Wow. Wow. Hi, Flop. Hi, Flop. But I agree. I think, like, I mean, we've been close over the years, but I do think like this year we've gotten like, it was very close. Yeah, like to the point where it's, I fucking hate you. No, you don't. You know that song by Tyler the Creator? Oh, yeah. I fucking hate you. Yeah. But I love you. That song has been stuck in my head. Really? Rent free. That was good. I kind of hit that. You kind of hit that. But yeah, and I think COVID gave us that opportunity to sit down and be like, hey, you know what? We have a lot of things in common. Yeah. Like, Sam's not good at video games. No. But I am. Yeah. But I like to talk, and Sam likes to talk. Yeah. Sam likes to listen. I also like to talk, obviously, but I do like to listen too. Like, actually, I thought about that yesterday. You know how we were talking about how you explain the entire plot of Sanctum to me in like 45 minutes? Yeah. I'll do that to anyone that tries to listen. Yeah. Kobe did that same thing to me about Training Day, the movie. He was like, oh yeah, like Training Day. And I was like, I've never seen that. He's like, yeah, you told me. I can't believe that. It's such a good movie. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, do you think you'll ever watch it? And I was like, not unless I watch it with you. And he's like, okay. 15 minutes, the entire plot. I loved it. I love doing that. But yeah, like I think, we've learned that we have a lot of similarities, but also differences that make us like mesh really well. Mm-hmm. We have very compatible personalities. Yeah, and like same sense of humor and all that stuff. Which, where is Gizmo sleeping? Because Mom and Dad just went to bed. Probably with Katie. We kicked Gizmo out for this episode. Yeah, she was not personal reasons.
a little personal.
She's been nasty lately.
In a sick mood. It's like she knows she's getting a haircut.
She ate a worm. She ate a dead worm.
And then we wouldn't touch her.
Oh.
Well, because she's gross.
She had an egg in her beard.
Ew. Yeah, because Liz made eggs. Gross.
Runny eggs.
Stirred them all up on a plate.
And then gave a chunk to Gizmo. And then she got it stuck in her beard.
It was so gross.
Like bright yellow.
Yeah.
I'm sure Gizmo loves COVID.
Oh, yeah, because we're
so
home
thankful.
all the time. Yeah.
She gets so mad when any of us leave.
I know. Like,
especially when I go back to school.
She's gonna, yeah. Well, honestly, can you imagine a prolonged period of time where Gizmo was alone in the last year? Alone by herself, no one else, no bra, no panties.
No. You didn't need to add that part. No, I can't, because she's normally left alone for 6 hours.
Yeah, because you're at school, Michael's at school, I'm at work, Katie's out,
mom, dad work.
Mom, dad. Like, I can't
think of a time where maybe Gizmo's been
literally with
up.
someone. I mean, maybe Michael, and Michael doesn't pay attention to her.
Which is so funny, because even one time I think the cleaning people came and I got mad that we had to leave Gizmo, and I said, fuck that. And I brought her with me somewhere. Yeah. And it was miserable.
I'm sure.
Because she doesn't know how to act in public.
No, she's disrespectful.
She's rude as hell. I'm very curious to hear other people's opinions. Yeah. Now that the 1 year mark is approaching. Mm-hmm. I understand that this is a very touchy subject. Yeah. And a lot of people struggled through COVID.
Well, that's another thing that I think is important to say. Like, obviously, COVID in, like, 2020 was, like, not just a year about, like, you know, oh, I, like, did, you know, self-help and, like, I painted with my family. Like, it had a lot of, like, terrible, like, things. Like, it's not just, like, our, you know, family. Like, we're not trying to make light of, like, the situation. No. Like,
COVID was rough.
It still is.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, like, there's a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel with the vaccine and stuff. Yeah. But still, like, to this day, it's still, like, very serious, you know? I have a question. Mm-hmm. What's something you won't do after you get the vaccine anymore because of COVID?
We were just talking about, like, partying and drinking the other day. Mm-hmm. I will not take a bottle and drink straight from the bottle.
Imagine an ice luge.
What? I've never done that.
Oh, it's so fun.
No, I won't never do it again.
Because my friend Phoebe from college used to say all the time, like, oh, when you get married, like, I'm gonna get you and Kobe, like, an ice luge. Like, that'll be, like, my party trick. Not anymore, unfortunately. I love the theory.
Great theory, but
I like the song. I like the beat.
But yeah, because I was thinking about it, and the first time I saw Mauricio after the 6 months, mm-hmm. I don't know if he knows this, but we were at an In-N-Out, and he grabbed my Dr. Pepper and took a drink out of it, and I got so mad at him without verbalizing it, and I was like, why would you do that? And he looked at me with a dead look, and he goes, we're dating, we share things, people share things, Liz, you can share. And I remember thinking, what the like, acting like I don't kiss this man on the lips. Like, I don't kiss him,
right?
Like the worst thing is he took a drink of my Dr. Pepper.
Right, like, that's the disrespect.
Yeah, I was so... And then I literally had to take a step back and be like, you're so fucking stupid, Liz. I was so mad. That's such a long-lasting effect, because Mom even yelled at us when we shared drinks during COVID. Yeah. She'd be like, don't drink each other's things. And I'm like...
We live together.
And so now anybody touching my stuff, I'm like, no.
Yeah. Like, I was sitting thinking about that today, knowing we were going to record talking about this, like, trying to think of things that, like, I won't do post-pandemic, but, like, I can't think of anything specific besides the ice luge. Because that's just, it's all my brain.
I think we're going to kind of wrap it up here. Yeah, that was a good thing to end on, what we won't do.
Yeah.
What is something you will do?
Oh my God. I already know. I can't wait, because I distinctly remember when Kobe and I got back. By the way, my eyes are closed right now because I'm picturing it. Mm-hmm. I distinctly remember when Kobe and I got back from our trip. I was so excited because there's this Irish pub down in Newport Beach, and I was so excited to go to St. Patrick's Day and drink a Guinness Shut up, Liz. I was so excited to go drink a Guinness because I'm cool now.
Hi, Queen.
Because I've been to the Guinness factory, and I was so excited to go to the Irish pub and drink a Guinness, which is so stupid. So the second anything opens, I'm so excited to go on.
This was very long-winded.
Yeah. I'm excited to go to a bar.
Oh, that's good.
Which is stupid because I don't even really drink like.
I think the one thing I will continue to do after COVID is wear a mask when I'm sick.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, I know. Like, never once did I get a cold.
I used to wear them in the health center and get so mad when they would be like, wear a mask when you're in here. And I go, fuck that noise.
Yeah.
And wear them when I'm not feeling well. Just for other people.
Yeah, just for the sake of it.
Yeah. And yeah, that's definitely something I'll carry over. But, yep. That's it. That's all we have. Follow us on Instagram at Stale Cupcakes Podcast. Is that the Instagram handle?
I think so. Yeah.
Follow us on our separate Instagrams at Liz Garrity 17 and at Sam Garrity nope.
At Sam at Sam _ Garrity.
But yeah, happy 1 year anniversary of COVID.
I know. What'd you get me for our anniversary?
A kiss on the lips.
All right.
Okay. Bye.
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 Bye, Flaw.
Bye, Queen. See you next week.